Warships from China, including an aircraft carrier, have entered the waters near Taiwan after a meeting between Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen and U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy a few days ago in California. Beijing made its most recent display of military power. China views Taiwan, which is self-governing, as a colony. Chinese President Xi Jinping stated that reunification with Taiwan must be fulfilled and has left the possibility of using the military to accomplish this. With its own constitution and legitimately elected officials, Taiwan regarded itself as different from the Chinese mainland. These reunification claims come in tough economic times when the world, especially China, faces unprecedented financial and economic challenges. So why does China need Taiwan so severely? There is a crippling reason that we will discuss in this video. Stay tuned. Number 1. China's economic collapse. Let's first discuss the recent economic woes of China. In the last few years, Chinese shares have declined, diverging from growing stock markets in other important nations like the US and undermining investor confidence. While reduced sales of high-end luxury items, including expensive watches and bags, reflect declining consumer confidence. As the demand for microchips used in mobile phones and consumer gadgets has fallen, growing geopolitical tensions are also increasing pressure on the semiconductor production industry. Lockdowns and stringent quarantine rules that have been placed have many repercussions. They are still considered the leading cause of the new pessimism, though. BNP Paribas economist Xindong Chen stated China is definitely in a very desperate situation. Number 2. How has China threatened Taiwan historically? Now, let's go back to when Tsai was elected president in 2016. China has increased its use of coercive methods that do not include violence. Its goal is to exhaust Taiwan and convince its citizens that joining the mainland is in its best interests. China has upped the number and size of PLA bombers, fighter fighters, and observation aircraft patrols over the surrounding Taiwan to do this. Furthermore, it has been actively displaying its might by sailing warships and aircraft carriers through the Taiwan Strait. Hundreds of cyber attacks from China are reportedly directed at Taiwanese public institutions day after day. Recent years have seen an increase in these attempts. Taipei charged 4 Chinese organizations in 2020 of breaking into at least 10 Taiwanese government organizations and 6,000 official email accounts in an effort to get access to sensitive material and private details. China has also put Taiwan under stress without using force. China and the main Taiwan liaison office's cross-strait channel of contact were shut down in 2016. It curbed travel to Taiwan, dropping mainland visitors from a high of over 4 million in 2015 to only 2.7 million in 2019. Worldwide businesses, particularly airlines and hotel chains, have been under pressure from China to classify Taiwan as a Chinese province. In 2021, China broke off trade with Lithuania for setting up a Taiwanese representative office in its center, thus intimidating nations that have relations with Taiwan. Number 3. China's military. China now has the second largest defense budget in the world after the US, with an estimated $290 billion in expenditure this year. This is the result of years of increasing military spending. Because of this, cutting-edge military systems like the J-20 stealth fighter, hypersonic missiles, and 2 aircraft carriers, with a third now under construction, have been made possible. According to most defense and political observers, China's military, which exceeds Taiwan's, may invade and ultimately seize power, particularly if the United States and other major nations don't step in. Taiwan's defense minister issued a warning to legislators last year that by 2025, the People's Liberation Army, or PLA, will be ready to invade Taiwan fully and with few casualties. Therefore, a victorious invasion would indeed be difficult. To deploy major forces on Taiwan's strongly guarded western shore, the PLA would need to navigate turbulent waters. As a result of not engaging in hostilities since a land-based border clash with Vietnam in 1979, China's military is well-equipped but unproven. Furthermore, regardless of whether other nations choose not to join the conflict in Ukraine offers a model for how developed democracies might work together to impose severe penalties on a superpower that starts an unpopular conflict. The United States and Taiwan could effectively repel a Chinese onslaught, but at a high cost in terms of lives and resources, according to simulations of a fight that were performed in Washington. According to William Burns, director of the Central Intelligence Agency, China is unsure if an assault would be successful. the chance that China might try an invasion of Taiwan has been downplayed by President Biden. Number 4. Now the most important question is, why is Taiwan crucial to China? The answer to this question is related to the brilliant semiconductor sector of Taiwan. The bulk of the foreign investment in Taiwan goes to Taiwan's electronics industry. Taiwan's importance to the world's semiconductor sector is undeniable. The biggest contract chip producer globally and the most valued listed firm in Asia, Taiwan Superconductor Manufacturing Corporation, has an enormous market cap of $600 billion. Taiwan plays a significant role in the semiconductor industry's worldwide supply chain. Notwithstanding tensions across the Taiwan Strait, Taiwan is the leading contract supplier of semiconductor chips globally. Most devices, including computers, cell phones, automobiles, and even artificial intelligence-powered weapons systems, have these chips. In 2022, Taiwanese businesses produced over 60% of the revenue generated by superconductor contract producers globally. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation, the largest contract chip manufacturer on the planet and Apple's primary provider, are responsible for a significant portion of that. It produces more than 90% of the world's finest cutting-edge chips, making it one of just 2 businesses, the other 2 being Samsung, situated in South Korea, with the necessary technical expertise. Number 5. Why is this important to the rest of the world? The economy of Taiwan is quite significant. Taiwanese computer chips power a large portion of the world's everyday electronic devices, including phones, computers, watches, and gaming consoles. According to one metric, the Taiwan Superconductor Manufacturing Corporation, often known as TSMC, controls more than half of the global market. Mehdi Hosseini, a senior tech hardware analyst, states, "If you look at the secular demand drivers, cloud infrastructure, electric vehicles, next generation of industrial facilities, they all require chips that are made at TSMC." According to some observers, the United States' reliance on Taiwanese chip manufacturers increased its incentive to safeguard Taiwan against a Chinese invasion. Moreover, the US is working to bolster its access to essential semiconductor technology. The CHIPS and Science Act, which provides incentives to chip manufacturers to produce their products domestically, was signed into law by US President Joe Biden this month. Biden has sought to enhance the US chip sector since he is aware of how much the US depends on TSMC for crucial chips. In August 2022, Congress enacted a comprehensive $280 billion measure to promote domestic chip manufacture. After that law, the Biden administration implemented tight export rules that limit China's access to advanced semiconductors, including those from TSMC. China is currently making efforts to strengthen its domestic chip sector, particularly through increased manufacturing by Huawei, a major Chinese telecoms company that the US fears Beijing may utilize for spying. Number 6. China's semiconductor manufacturers continue to lag. China has increased its chip building activities in recent decades thanks to rules that encourage investments. Although significant expansion and technical advancement at another Chinese chip producer, Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, the debt accumulation and bankruptcy at state-owned chip business Tsinghua Unigroup demonstrates how the industry has been vulnerable to inefficiency. According to Mehdi Hosseini, China does not have access to leading-edge equipment, and it would take a long time to have the engineering know-how. Under the Trump administration, the United States effectively blocked Chinese tech giants Huawei and SMIC from utilizing American technology, particularly its chip manufacturing machinery. As a result, TSMC could no longer be able to produce semiconductors for Huawei starting in late 2020. As per David Su, Associate Director at S&P Global Ratings, between 2018 and 2020, TSMC's Chinese revenue increased to over 20% of the company's total sales. Yet, according to Su, in 2021, TSMC's exposure to China decreased once more to just 10% of total sales. He added that after the Huawei ban, TSMC shifted its capacity to other companies. The business of TSMC has proven robust. A significant Apple supplier posted second quarter sales of approximately $18 billion, up and over 40% from the same period last year. This illustrates just how bigger TSMC is than SMIC, whose sales for the same quarter were $1.9 billion, up more than 40% compared to the identical period last year. Number 7. Will China invade Taiwan to secure microchips? China wants Taiwan more so than Taiwan wants China when it refers to semiconductors. After the contentious visit to Taiwan by U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, China suspended areas of trade with the island this month. Remarkably, electronics were exempt from the prohibitions, according to a 2021 Boston Consulting Group assessment. Taiwan is responsible for more than 90% of the production capacity for the most sophisticated semiconductors globally. Pelosi's visit to Taiwan was in defiance of Beijing's warnings, which believes the democratically self-governing island is part of its territory and has no rights to freely manage its foreign affairs. The United States maintains informal ties with Taiwan despite recognizing Beijing as the only legitimate government in China. China has increased military drills surrounding the island of Taiwan, in addition to various trade restrictions, which has caused some people to worry about the potential damage to world access to crucial semiconductors. Experts stress that Taiwan-made chips, particularly those produced by TSMC, are too essential to China and the rest of the globe for there to be any significant disruption in the semiconductor market. So whether China would invade Taiwan to secure global technological advantage is yet to be seen. Did you find this video interesting? If so, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment and share.